You took you were out of the off the show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you since yesterday at about 9 o'clock, it feels twice as long for Kyle Filipowski.
Probably.
The last 12 hours for Kyle Filipowski, easily as long as the last 5 days for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Kyle Filipowski still on the board. The presumed, at one point, lottery pick coming out of Duke. Still on the board. The first round of the NBA draft done. And by still on the board, meaning he hasn't been drafted. It seems like there's a lot of and by the way, this happens every once in a while in pro sports where everybody kind of has a feeling about something, but nobody wants to say it. Feels like there's a lot of people that aren't that surprised Kyle Filipowski is still on the board. And meanwhile, all of the consumers, the fans that pay attention to these analysts are like, then why didn't you say anything before the draft? Right? This isn't, it's not being treated like an Aaron Rodgers tumble down the draft board, right? It's not being treated like, oh, we never could have seen this coming. Instead, it's being treated like, yeah, well, I had my suspicions. Nobody voiced those suspicions before the draft. I'm sure even Filipowski and his agent are like, would have loved to have heard the suspicions, maybe wouldn't have attended the draft in person. Maybe would be going back for Duke. Here's the thing. You can easily, and by the way, if you're a rival of Duke, I can see why you'd want to. You can easily say, yeah, mistimed the market, didn't he? Little too rich for his britches, right? Thought he was going to be drafted higher than he was. Look at that. Mistimed the market. Or I think you could be a little bit more honest about it and say this. I don't understand the market either.
It's so hard to figure out.
An NBA draft in the same night that Zach Edey goes 9th overall, Kyle Filipowski isn't in the top 30. Now, Edey is old school. Edey is everything that I've been told the NBA is moving away from.
Yeah, back to the basket, big man.
Doesn't shoot threes.
Nope.
Can't really defend on the perimeter much. If he gets switched onto a smaller player, he becomes the world's biggest traffic cone. Yet he goes in the top 10, Kyle Filipowski, who maybe not quite as big, I'll give you that, but can shoot from distance, can handle, can face up. Everything that we're told the NBA is becoming slightly, I won't say he's like a lockdown defender, but slightly better defender on the perimeter than a player like Edey. Worse at the bucket, rim protection, and that's where Edey would thrive. But man, this is a confusing draft. Man, this is a confusing draft. And I don't know if this makes it more confusing, but every fifth pick made all of the sense in the world, which I think just made the other four more confusing. I'd be like, I don't get that one. Who is that? Where did they play? Then one pick would come out and go, oh, that makes perfect sense. That is a great fit. Like if you're Duke, if you're a Duke fan, right, and you watched the draft last night, you are completely mystified by the Kyle Filipowski situation, and then you have to watch Jared McCain and go, oh, that makes all of the sense in the world. All the mock drafts leading up to it had Jared McCain going to the Sixers with pick 16. You think about it like just a basketball mind. You're like, you know what? They have Joel Embiid. They have Tyrese Maxey. Those guys are big gravitational pulls. They need shooters around them to provide the spacing for those guys. Jared McCain makes all the sense in the world. He's a player with a certain level of experience and maturity that comes from being a player that was at Duke and a little hated, and now he's going to Philly. That makes sense. The stars align perfectly. So then if you're a Duke fan, you're going, all right, I'm not crazy. I know what I'm talking about. Filipowski has to be going soon, only to watch him continue to fall. Here's Jay Billis on the Jared McCain selection by the Philadelphia 76ers at number 16 overall.
And he's a terrific young man. But the stuff that he's got going on off the court, you might question with another player, but with him, he's such a dedicated worker and such a tough competitor. And that's one of the things that stands out is he's really tough. He's an outstanding shooter, shot 41% from three, makes almost 90% of his free throws. I mean, he's had some great games this last year, put up 35 on the road against Florida State in the NCAA tournament, hit 8 threes against James Madison. And he's competitive. He gets to the glass. Even though he's an undersized guard, he goes to the glass, averages over 5 rebounds per game. He competes on the defensive end. He's not a big-time athlete. He's not explosive, and he's not big, but he can really knock down shots. And he plays a physical brand of basketball as well. There's a ton to like about Jared McCain. You just wish he were bigger.
It just makes sense that he goes to Philly. It just makes sense that he goes to Philly. By the way, I do have a problem because we saw a lot of this last night. There are ways to measure athleticism other than the ability to run fast and jump high. That's explosiveness. But I'm darn frustrated with all of this. He's not a great athlete. I'm like, well, the dude shot like 40% from three.
It's like, yeah, okay, maybe he's not the best one.
Is
he's pretty darn good
Steph
athlete.
Curry not a great athlete? Like, Steph Curry is an unbelievable athlete. That doesn't mean he's out there doing between the legs dunks. Part of athleticism is like hand-eye coordination and depth perception and being able to shoot. Jared McCain isn't an explosive athlete, right? He's not going to dunk on you very often. And in the NBA, maybe never. But
and that's okay.
But he can be a great athlete. Like, the guy can shoot the lights out.
When's the last time you saw Steph Curry dunk?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, every once in a while he does it like in warm-ups. I think just to like prove to his teammates that he can.
Just to troll people.
Just to let everybody know, like, I'm not explosive for an NBA player. I'm way more explosive than those of you in the stands. Like, there's actually a Twitter account that was going around saying every NBA player can dunk. And all they were doing was waiting for people to respond and be like, J.J. Barea. And they had a clip of J.J. Barea dunking. Steve Nash, clip of Steve Nash dunking. And it was like, no, you don't understand. Just because you don't dunk in NBA games doesn't mean you can't dunk better than just about every high schooler you know. Like Jared McCain is an athlete. And Reed Shepherd and Rob Dillingham, they're undersized for NBA players. They're still above average for they're getting called short left and right last night, and I'm going, he's 6'2". Like, let's not get carried
that's a big wide receiver in the NFL.
Let's not get carried away. But obviously compared to the NBA, it's all different. Filipowski, though, and I actually didn't know this until today. I think maybe his height at the combine knocked him a little bit.
He's 6'11".
6'10" 3/4 when he was listed as 7 foot plus for just about every run that he's been on, every team that he's been on over the last few years. So maybe that hurts. They don't think he's as much of a size advantage, but 6'11" and can shoot it. Somebody's going to be very excited drafting him in the second round.
Isn't he like the prototype of what the NBA wants nowadays?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's all confusing. No
The
one understands
bar
it.
for being a 7-footer with skills is going up. Because now you're seeing like the guys drafted at the top, Sarr and those guys, they're like dribbling 2 balls at the same time and trying to be point guards. It used to just be like if you're KG and you could just shoot an awkward behind your head jumper from the college 3-point line. You were like, look at this guy, never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a 7-footer, you have to be like Kevin Durant or Giannis with handles to get anybody excited about you. I still think there's a spot in the NBA for Kyle Filipowski. I still think somebody is going to draft him at the top of the second round and be excited about it.
As they should.
But man, you know what I felt bad for him? Because this had, like I've said this before, the worst part about playing a bad game is when everyone tells you it's okay. Oh, it's okay. Oh, no, it's fine. It's like, no, it's not. Right? Don't lie to me. Don't give me pity likes. By the end of the draft, I was watching the version of the broadcast with Jay Billis and that crew. They were doing like I feel bad for Kyle Filipowski. Andrea Carter was doing like it's an honor just to be invited, and I'm going like, gosh, I hope he's not watching this broadcast. That would be like to have at the end of the draft. If he's not picked here, it's still good. You're still doing great, buddy. Like, you just want to be mad at that point in time.